All right. Well, it is 1 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know there might be some people jumping in a little bit later, and also the replay crew. I know that you sign up for the replay, so that'll be coming out later this afternoon. But I want to jump in and talk about the uncomfortable place of growth for leadership. And all of us who are paying attention to this are leaders in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a big corporation, small family owned business, even if it's just your family. You are a leader in some way, shape, or form. So the question is, when is it time for the leader to get out of the trenches and into the boardroom? I'm going to give you some very specific examples today of people that I've encountered in situations that I've dealt with that speak to this exactly. So we're going to talk about 5 different key points today. First one being doing versus leading, knowing the difference. Many leaders confuse productivity with leadership. And so they're in the trenches with their people all day, every day, and getting things done. And they feel, wow, this is great leadership. I'm really showing great leadership. But is that holding them back? Is that time for them to, or when is it time for them to get out of the trenches and then get into the boardroom? So I'm going to give you an example, and I've used this many times before. So if you've heard it before, please forgive me, but it's a great example. Back when I was in college, I used to work for Sears. Yes, Sears, Roebuck and Company. And I was unloading trucks on the loading dock. And it was like a July day. We had a semi full of window air conditioner units that needed to get unloaded. And we happened to have a new store manager start within, the previous couple weeks. And our previous store manager was the type that would come in, stand on the loading dock, wave their finger around, point, give commands, and then walk out. And it was what it was. We understood. But this new store manager came in and saw that we were on the loading dock on a semi, 100 some degrees, and said, you guys gonna be able to get this truck unloaded today? And we thought he was kind of pressuring us, like, hey, hurry up, guys, you got to get on this. And we said, yeah, we'll be able to handle it. It'll take a few hours, but we'll be able to get it unloaded. And he said, okay, where's the hand trucks at? And we kind of looked around and it's like, well, there's an extra one right over there. And he says, okay. He undoes his tie, takes off his suit coat, rolls up his sleeves, and starts unloading the air conditioner units with us. And me and the guys on the dock were like, oh my goodness, like we've never had a store manager do this for us before. Like, what's going on? Now, he did not unload the whole semi with us, but he did it for about 30 minutes. And that was really powerful and impactful. And what he did in that 30 minutes was he built rapport with us. He shared stories. He got to learn a little bit about us, and also helped us build an immense amount of respect for him. So after that, he never came and helped again after that. But anytime he needed something and came to the dock looking for help to get a project done or move something, all of the guys were like, hey, yeah, we got you. Yeah, we'll do it. No problem. Because we respected him, because he got in the trenches with us. Then he left the trenches, went back to his office, and ran the store as he should. So just a really simple example of sometimes you do need to go into the trenches, and it's essential to build capacity with your people in order to do that. But don't stay there, because your job is to lead the company, to lead the business, not to do the work. Now, granted, small businesses, yes, I understand sometimes you are the ones doing the work as well as leading, but there has to be at least a time where you pull back and you're able to kind of see things from a balcony view, which I will get to in just a little bit, because a balcony view is incredibly important. So get into the trenches. Yes. Stay there. No, you have to be able to pull back and lead your people. So the second point is the emotional cost of letting go, leaving the trenches. If you're one of these leaders who kind of came up in the trenches, you were in the trenches, you know the trenches, you're comfortable in the trenches, but then you have to leave the trenches and go to your office or go to the boardroom. And you can feel like you're abandoning your team. They might even feel like you're abandoning them as well, because you've been with them side by side for them for so long. So that's where it's important to have that piece of communication where you're saying, hey, I need to go do the leadership things. Here's some of the things that I need to be able to do. You are well capable of handling these things in my absence. In fact, I'm going to start turning over more of these responsibilities to you, because I need to go and set mission. I need to set vision. I need to make contacts with future clients. I need to then start building out where we're going to go as a business, as a company. I recently did some work with a small local business. We're talking less than a dozen employees. And The owner was also the senior engineer. So already you can hear where this is going to start to get complicated. This owner was kind of an owner operator for a number of years, and then the business started to explode. So this owner started hiring other people, got a good staff underneath him, and kept his senior engineer duties. Well, you know where this is going. Absolutely. He became overwhelmed with running the business as well as the engineering responsibilities that he had to do, because he was not only creating some of the projects, he was then vetting them, sometimes installing them, and then still trying to manage employees and run the business side of the operation as well. And he got to a place where he just couldn't do it anymore. And so when I was having conversation with him during our meetings, I would say, you're going to have to find a way to separate yourself from the daily work that's going on at the business. You have to pull back, because you have to be able to find the next senior engineer, because it can't be you. You're going to have to start investing in people and operations, and not investing in widgets, buttons, and clicks. You have to be able to do the things that are going to propel and see the business forward. Otherwise, you're going to die the death of 1,000 cuts and just be stuck in the trenches for the next 20 years. And you can't afford, your business can't afford to do that. Your clients can't afford for you to do that either, because the clients who are paying you to do the work, they're paying you because you do a good job, but they also want to see their businesses move forward. And you are a key factor in that. So senior engineer, let's start training up some other senior engineers to grow in place of you. Yes, this is going to be that uncomfortable, flexible time where, yes, you're going to be doing some of the things, your people are going to be doing some of the things. There's going to be crossover, but you have to be okay with that. My wife is going through something similar to this with a company that she works for. And one of the things that she gets free coaching, by the way, just because she's married to me. But one of the things that they are going through is they're having a hard time. Not they. The staff is sometimes having a hard time with job duties and responsibilities because they're flexing. Yes, we've got enough people today, but we're not going to have enough people tomorrow. So we've got to cross over and do some of each other's jobs, because we're growing so fast that we have to hire, and we don't have enough people sometimes. So we have to cross over our duties. That is the pain point of the staff oftentimes is, well, I was hired for this job, but now I'm doing this, and like, I'm uncomfortable. I have to do things that I'm not comfortable doing. What is this? Well, this is growth. So it's kind of exciting. So you as a leader need to be able to communicate that with your people. Hey, I know this is hard, and I really appreciate you being here with me going through this. Yes, we're doing some things that are uncomfortable. Yes, we're doing some things that are hard, but we've got to stay together. And I need you to do these things because I have to go hire some more people. You can't do the hiring. I have to do that. So in order for me to get more people for you, I have to leave. Yes, it's just this grungy, hard to deal with flex time that growth is. But once you get to a certain point, then growth can level off for a little while so you can get your feet underneath you. And that's the point. But staying in a communication with your staff and your direct reports about what's going on keeps them informed, also gives them vision, also gives them the why of what they're doing. And that can be incredibly helpful just for their morale moving forward. The third thing I want to talk about is delegation is a development strategy. And again, do you see where this is going? Yes, you having to back out. You need to delegate some of your responsibilities to people beneath you, under you, who are you may be training them up, or maybe just, you know what? I can't handle making these bills this week, not because we don't have the money, but because I just don't have the time. I'm going to show you in the next 15 minutes how to pay these 3 bills. And then when the bills come, I'm going to give them to you, and I need you to pay them in this way. I've always paid the bills. Like myself, I've always done that accounting, and to give that over to somebody else, that feels like a big responsibility. But is it really? Is this something that is really crucial that I handle myself personally? Or can somebody else handle this, and it's probably going to go just fine, especially if I show them the right way to do it? So it won't always be perfect. And sometimes it's going to be messy, because other people who you delegate to are not you. They're not going to do things the way that you do them. But I'm going to go back to some advice that my mother gave me when I got married. And trust me, this applies. So, Mom, if you're watching, this one's for you. But when I got married, my mom told me, sweetheart, your wife is going to do things different than you. That doesn't make them wrong. That just makes them different. And that's okay. So in business, can that same thing be true? Absolutely. Just because somebody does something different than you does not mean they are doing it incorrectly. It just means that they're doing it differently. Is the result the same? Is the goal accomplished? Are you getting across the finish line? If the answer to those things is yes, then maybe you're learning a new way to do something because they've got a better idea than you. That's okay. As leaders, we have to stay humble and open to those types of things as well. So delegate. If there's something that you can delegate, delegate that thing. Even if you just say in your mind, and I know as leaders, we do this all the time, it's going to take me 5 minutes. I'll just do it myself. Yeah, but how many times a day do you say that? Do you say that, I don't know, 6 times a day? Let's do the math on that. 6 times 5 is 30. So I know most leaders wish they had an extra 30 minutes in a day to get some other things done. And if you say that 6 times a day, oh, it'll just take me 5 minutes. I'll just do it myself. Delegate that. Because if it's really only going to take you 5 minutes to do, then it's probably going to be pretty easy for somebody else to learn. So maybe it takes you 10 minutes to teach somebody else how to do it. But now you've got that 30 minutes a day for the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year. And now you can pull back, work on mission, vision, growth, scaling, that sort of thing. That's why delegation is really important and needs to be done by leaders. The fourth thing is vision requires altitude. When you are in the trenches, you can't always see what's going on around you. And I use this example a couple weeks ago with a group that I'm coaching right now, and I think it worked out really well. So I want you to do a little mind game with me. We're going to pretend that we're at a club and it's dark and everybody's on the floor dancing. And, just think about the movies where, everybody's dancing and there's people just mashed together really closely. If you're in the middle of the dance floor, and let's say I gave you a little earpiece like this, and I said, all right, I'm going to tell you how to get to the exit door. Where's the exit door? You're going to say, I have no idea. I can't see the exit door because I'm surrounded by hundreds of people that are jumping up and down dancing. But what if I, in your earpiece, was standing on a balcony above the dance floor? I'm above all of the mess. I'm above all of the craziness and the confusion. And I can see you. And I can see the exit door. So I can direct you because I see it. You can't because why? You're in the middle of the dance floor. You're in the trenches. So as leaders, we need to pull back and get a balcony view of things. And we can't do that if we are the senior engineer that is constantly doing all the programming and doing all the work. We can't do that if we're unloading the truck ourselves. We can't focus on marketing and sales. We can't do it if we're in the trenches because we're surrounded by the work. We have to be able to find a space where we can pull back and get an overview of everything and see where everything lays, because that's what's going to give you better vision moving forward and give you better instruction on how to direct your direct reports. You need several things. I'm looking at my notes here real quick. You need clarity, strategy, and direction for your business and organization. You will not get those things by working in the trenches all day, every day, because you're consumed with the trench work. You need to be able to pull back so you can get that clarity, that strategy, and that direction and move your business forward. The fifth and final thing that I want to talk about is comfort. And I mean, how many of you heard the phrase, you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable? I hate that. I hate that phrase because it doesn't give you any specific instruction. It doesn't tell you what you need to do. I need to be uncomfortable, or I need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's kind of a redundant sentence anyways, but what does that mean? Like, be comfortable while I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with that. So should I be comfortable in this? What does that mean? What I prefer to say and think about, this helps me mentally think about this. It's the same idea. I need to be professionally agile so I can become, so I have the ability to assess, pivot, and move. So think about any sport, and I'm just going to let you make up whatever sport you like. Just think of a sport. The first time you see somebody participate in the sport who has not participated in this sport before, they are clunky, they are slow, they are mechanical, they fumble around, they don't do a good job because it's the first time they've done this. You and I were at that point when we first tried a sport that we tried before. But then if you think about this exact same sport, and then you think about a professional athlete in that sport, they're fluid. It's kind of like poetry in motion. The little things that they do are like extensions of their body, whether it's with a ball or a racket or whatever they're using. And they move in ways that we didn't know the human body could move because they've been doing it for so long and they're so proficient at it. That's what we need to be able to get to. We need to be able to get to that point in our professional career where we can assess, pivot, and move with fluidity and not just get stuck because we're in the trenches all the time. And now, it's like, oh man, I should have seen that coming, but I was in the trenches, so I didn't have the vision to see forward and know that that market was starting to shift and change, and I should have changed my marketing strategy. And I missed out on that sale because I was busy building code over here, and I didn't get a chance to, meet with this person or have coffee or have lunch with that professional. We need to be situationally aware and be able to be professionally agile so we can assess where things are going, assess the things that are going on around us, and then be able to pivot if we see something that needs to pivot. Hey, wow, this new technology came. It's called AI. Anybody ever heard of that before? Huh. Well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll get around to that next year. It's probably not going to last, right? And those of you who know AI know that you can't even say that a week now, because something different is coming out probably in 7 days that's probably going to help you. So you have to be in tune with that. If your business is reliant on that or uses AI, yes, you got to keep your head in the game. And you have to be able to pivot and move when something new comes out. I have a friend, I'm going to give him a shout out right now, Jonathan Mast with Whitebeard Strategies. He's tip of the spear in AI for businesses. And some of the things that he was showing me, and I'm not an AI guy, he is. He was kind of showing these things to me. I was like, man, that's crazy. Remember what you showed me last week? He's like, yeah, I don't even use it anymore. I don't even use it anymore because it's developing so fast and you have to stay on top of it. Well, he is doing a really good job being professionally agile because he can assess what's going on around him because he can see the things because he's so well versed in the topic, but then he can also pivot to new strategies and then move in the direction of whatever he needs to move in. So think about that. Think about whether it's your business, whether it's a sport that you've participated in. Think about how fluid you have to be in order to be good at what you're doing. Now, we all have our different skill sets, and sometimes our skill sets are from behind a camera or from behind a keyboard, or maybe they're working in an office, or maybe it's this. Maybe it's the interpersonal connection. You have no idea the amount of people who I have interacted with and said, man, Todd, I would not want your job because you have to talk to people and deal with people every single day. And it's like, yeah, but for me, that's easy. That's my fluidity. That's my agility. I'm really good at people. That's what I do well. I had a guy come up to me. I was leading a meeting one time, and I used him as an example in this meeting. And I said, I'll say Ken. And, we've got Ken over here who does X, Y, and Z, and he does a great job at that. And I said, Ken, what is one job that you would not want to have? And he goes, yours. And I said, why? And he's like, I don't like talking in front of people. Okay, fair enough. Me, I love it. I love it. I'm good at it and I enjoy it. So Ken and I would make a really good team because he does the things that I'm not good at and I'll talk to the people. So being uncomfortable in a place of growth is an okay thing. Yes, it doesn't feel good all the time, but it is necessary. And if you are growing, if your business is growing, if your company is growing, and you are feeling uncomfortable, but nothing bad is really going on, then those feelings of uncomfortableness are probably good, and keep them going. Now, I don't want to say learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, though we've heard that 1,000 times. I want to say learn to be professionally agile so that you can assess, pivot, and move. And I think that is what's going to serve us well. Just these ambiguous terms of being uncomfortable, it doesn't hold a lot of water. Like, well, what is uncomfortable and what? Who knows? But I don't get it. Like, how do I be comfortable in my uncomfortableness? Be specific. Think about specific things and take specific action. My two favorite words are purposeful and intentional. And I carry those in all things in my life. I talk to my kids about that. Be specific, be purposeful, be an intentional person. Don't just be like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like when somebody asks you, hey, where do you want to go to eat? Don't say, I don't know. I don't care. No, say McDonald's or Los Burritos or whatever it is that you want. But have an opinion about those things. Be specific, be purposeful, be intentional. So I will open it up to any questions or comments. If anybody on the call right now has any comments or questions, feel free. You can unmute your microphone and chime in. I'll give you a couple seconds to think about something. Or if you want to put something in the chat because you don't want your voice to be heard, that's fine as well. Completely respect that. Or if you don't have anything at all, we can just call it a day. And thanks for joining me. I'll give you a couple seconds. Gotcha. I see that. Thank you very much. I'm good. Yes, you are. I love your picture, by the way, on the screen. That's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your attendance. Those catching this on the replay, thank you for listening and being on the list. If you found this helpful, if you found this valuable, this is what I do on a daily basis. I help leaders grow in their leadership, build their confidence so that they are respected in whatever role they find themselves in. So please reach out to me. You've got multiple ways to contact me, and I look forward to hearing from you. We will see you next week.